Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. A little change of scenery today. We're actually inside my kitchen and not in the garage. The garage is actually pretty cold right now. It's still winter. The rust repair is still coming along. I just have to weld the panels on, but it's a little cold and I really don't want to be working in the cold. Today, we're actually going to do something a little bit different. To my left here is actually a sewing machine. Yeah, that's right guys. I know how to sew. So we're actually going to be making a shift boot, like a replacement shift boot for the Integra shift boot that I have for my console. So as you can see, the previous owners actually did a lot of smoking and all that kind of stuff, so they burned a lot of holes in here. So I went to basically the fabric store and got some replacement vinyl. I believe this is vinyl. I think I'm pretty sure it's vinyl. Leather wouldn't actually burn through like this. So this is not like an ITR shift boot. It is just a stock Integra shift boot. So what we're gonna do is take this apart, get a template, and then we're gonna trace it onto the vinyl, and then we're gonna use this bad boy here and sew ourselves a new shift boot. And I'll go through the whole process of how to set one of these things up and all that kind of stuff. This machine was actually lent to me by my mom, so it's kind of neat to just have a sewing machine to do little things like this, like that. That's a little crafty. But the replacement vinyl that I got is this one right here. They call it marine vinyl or something, marine vinyl black. It's actually a lot thicker than this stuff, the stock one, but it actually feels pretty nice. This actually only cost me about 10 bucks and you get a lot of it. Like, it's huge. This is half a yard that I bought, so I can make a lot of shift boots with this, or do other little projects with it. But for now, we're just gonna make one shift boot and I'll go through the whole process and show you guys how it's done. Let's get to work. Alright guys, so first step is actually to take one of these things apart. So what you have to do is basically flip this inside out, and there's a little rubber band on this collar here, the shift collar, and all you do is just pop this rubber band off, pop the shift collar out, and you can start unstitching everything. So let's just do that. So it did come out in two pieces, but it was already broken. If anything, I could just re-glue this all back together with some epoxy adhesive kind of thing. But we'll work on that a little later. But right now, collar is still okay. I mean, I could still reuse this and put it back onto the new replacement shift boot. I mean, it's better than those aluminum, ugly-looking ones that are on the suede shift boots that you buy on eBay.
Aside from my soul, there goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight from my soul.
There we go, finally. This does take a little bit of time, but eventually you get it all out. So next step is basically get some like cardboard or some sort of template. What I'm going to be using is just this accessory kit cardboard thing that I have down in the garage. So I'm going to be tracing each one of these pieces onto here. After I'm done tracing them, I'm just going to have a template to use to trace onto here. And I could make many shift boots after that, after I have the template, because you really want it on a piece of paper. So we're going to do that real quick. Alright, so let's get to work tracing.
Aside from my soul, there goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul.
And there we go. All four pieces are traced out. So we'll cut this out and I'll show you what to do with these after that. Alright, so the templates are all kind of cut out now. So what we're going to do is actually trace these onto the vinyl now. So since we traced it basically the black side up, so this will be the front. So let's just mark all these templates saying that it's the front. And I'm just using one of these fine tip Sharpies. Now let's cut these out.
There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from.
Alright guys, so here's the pieces all cut out and ready to basically be fabbed together. So they basically go on like so. This goes onto that side, and then this goes onto this side, and this one goes like this, and then you'll have yourself a shift boot. So what you would do is you'd be sewing all this inside out essentially. So this goes together like this, and then you'll sew a seam there, and you make a round of circle, and then you're basically done the shift boot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by lining all this up.
There goes a sight from my soul.
Alright guys, so although I managed to make this, there were some stitching issues that I had with the machine jamming and all. So let me show you here. So you can see the stitches look pretty clean for the most part, but there were like some jam issues like right there, like right here. So these are areas where the machine actually jammed quite a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to make another one of these. And hopefully it turns out better. Plus the tolerances on the top here were not as tight as I would like them to be, because you know how the original one was super tight on here, and then you just wrap the rubber band on. But it's a little bit looser than the original, but that's okay, because once it's strapped on, you can even use a zip tie and zip this on. It looks fine once you flip it over like that. But I'm going to try and make another one, cut out the pieces. I'm ready to sew another one, so we'll see how that goes. All right, so the pieces are marked off now. So basically just going to be sewing along that edge, sewing along that edge, and it's the same. So the tolerance should just be around there, which should stretch, but we'll see.
There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight from my soul.
Again, it's stitched all funny on the back side here. Alright, so I actually restitched this. I had to remove the stitching first to restitch this, and it actually came through not bad. The issue was actually the tension. It needed to have a higher tension on the, I guess this threader thing. Who would have thought? But yeah, I'm going to continue to sew some more to see how it goes. I'm hoping it goes fine now moving forward, but you never know. You really never know with these things.
There goes a sight from my soul. slow. There goes the side, there goes the side.
And that's the final stitch. Actually, that looks pretty good. Final stitch. It's a little bit close on this side here, but you know, overall it's stitched together. Let's just cut all the little loose threads and take a look at it. So that's what it looks like after it's finished. The tolerances are actually pretty good for the tight fit on top. So this collar actually looks very flush, I would say. But yeah, I'm going to cut some slits into this and then maybe install it into my spare Integra console just to have a look at what it looks like before I actually put it into the car. But I think this is a keeper. It looks pretty good. There you guys. So this is how it looks like on my spare Integra console. So the boot's actually not bad. I mean, you gotta scrumple it up a little bit. I mean, overall, it stands straight up. You can have it sit a little lower if you want, but for the most part, it looks fine. All right, guys, so this is the finished product, all installed into the car. Looks pretty good, I would say. I did actually push the shift boot a little bit down so that it's held on by the shifter here. Kind of looks a little bit more OEM that way. But yeah, it fits pretty nicely. It's like definitely got that shift boot feel to it, I guess. It is a thicker material. It's much thicker than the OEM material, but it seems to work fine, and it looks great on this car, especially with the OEM collar here. But yeah, definitely this is a nice fix, and it only cost me about $10 for the material, which I have a lot left over, and I think $5 for the threading as well, because you needed some heavy duty thread. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed that video on how to make a shift boot, and I hope you guys learned a little bit of how to actually do it with a sewing machine. It's actually not too difficult using a sewing machine. It's pretty straightforward as long as you set it up correctly. We're only doing straight stitches, so it's not very difficult. So the rust repair will continue on the driver's side. I'm just dreading going down there right now because it's pretty damn cold. But, you know, the project's not going to finish itself, right? So next step is actually to continue welding and all that kind of stuff. So if you're new here, guys, please comment, like, and subscribe. As always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.